Hey guys, so chapter 1007 of One Piece just came out, and it was kind of a fast chapter. Went by very fast, at least for me. Mostly because most of the chapter takes place in a single scene, I guess. But there's kind of a big thing at the end of this chapter, which probably will end up being not as big as it seems initially. And I will, share my theories on that when we get to that. But starting off at the very start of this chapter, our cover page is Caesar hanging out with some penguins. Um, Nothing terribly crazy there, especially compared to last time where we got a color spread and a jump cover. But that is all right. But getting right into the main big scene of the chapter. The chapter is called Tanuki-san, which since the residents of Wano have been calling Chopper a Tanuki, one could immediately discern what this chapter is going to be about, especially where we left off last chapter with Hyogoro seemingly going to be killed, and naturally, as many people suspected, that ended up not being the case. Um, but yeah, we start back in the festival hall with him about to be executed. And all of the members of the Beast Pirates are actually complaining to Queen about, them also being afflicted by the Ice Oni virus at the same time as the samurai. At which point, Queen snaps at them and essentially calls them useless. Anyone that isn't a gifter pretty much isn't useless to them. Pleasures obviously failed that their chances to get a power up by the smile fruits. And since Doflamingo was taken out, obviously there's no more smile fruits for the waiters. So pretty much Queen just tells them that their only really real use will be as carriers of this virus, since it does, increase your strength greatly. It brings out all your latent energy until you pretty much die from a lack of stamina. But in any case, that causes people or members of the Beast Pirates to start turning on Queen pretty much. Even, members, there's one panel where members of the Samurai Alliance are even kind of pitying the members of the Beast Pirates for their current situation. But yes, just as Hyogoro is about to get his head cut off, Chopper comes in to save the day. He makes it in time. We get a big close up of his face with the sparkly eyes. Um, Oda went all out with the cutesy face this time for Chopper. But in any case, he does get the virus or the antidote to Hyogoro. At which point, he then calls on what are the other two doctors' names? I forget them. Miyagi and Tristan. That's right. He calls on them. They bring out a big cannon, which fires a atomic bomb-esque blast of virus. Or it's not an antidote. It is actually another virus, as he explains it. He, as Chopper says, he analyzed the virus and made his own counter virus, and then made it into a explosive blast. So because he recognized that there was no possible way of him going around to tens of thousands of soldiers right now and injecting them all with the antidote themselves. So this was his method of doing so, and he has a nice little moment with Queen, as we've seen multiple times with characters like Dr. Hogeback in Thriller Bark and Caesar Clown and Punk Hazard. He takes great offense to malpractice in the medical field and weaponizing bioweapons and whatnot. So he has a moment where he calls out Queen. And Queen earlier was believed that Chopper had actually ran off with a virus, or not the virus, with the antidote to heal himself. He believes that since he was a pirate himself, he wouldn't actually take the time to care about others, much less actually have the medical and scientific expertise to reverse engineer a virus like he has done. So he does remark on that that uh, that it should be impossible for him to have such medical expertise. And Chopper actually reminisces on the 2 years they spent apart and how he used that time to hone his skill to what it is right now. And again, calls Queen out on weaponizing a virus. But yeah, that's just I kind of glossed over that. That was very fast. That was like the first 6 or 7 pages of the chapter. And usually I go into more detail, but that's pretty much the gist of it. There's nothing really else crazy other than a few, you know, other than the reactions of pretty much, fodder characters, just random members of the Beast Pirates and random members of the Samurai Alliance, based on what's going on. But after this, Queen actually, takes out his gun barrels in his mouth and starts firing on Chopper. At which point, some of the pleasures actually take the bullets for him. So as we can see, they are they did not take kindly to how Queen treated them, and are actually switching sides here, or at the very least, attacking Queen directly, or not attacking him, but working against him. So yeah, I mean, things are looking in terms of like numbers of soldiers and whatnot. Things are looking very much in the favor of the Alliance, because we already know 2 or 3 chapters ago that Otama was converting quite a few gifters, and now it seems like on the in the festival hall, quite a few pleasures and waiters are actually coming over to the Alliance's side as well. And we already knew from the Cypher Poll meeting back in 1003 maybe. We knew from them that the Alliance was already ahead in terms of how much they'd lost compared to how much the Beast Pirates had lost, and they'd lost significantly less than the Beast Pirates had, at least in direct proportion to their overall numbers, because you got to remember they were only at like 5,000 something, while the Beast Pirates were at 30,000 or whatever. But in any case, we get after that happens, after the pleasures and the waiters take the bullet for Chopper. Essentially, they've all rallied themselves behind Chopper specifically, as sort of their savior. And Marco comes in and like chokeholds Queen real quick in his Brachiosaurus form, and Marco takes one of his fiery wings and just locks it around his neck, at which point Chopper goes rumble ball and slaps Queen in the face. So it does look like possibly Chopper is going to be involved in the takedown of Queen. Obviously, I do not think Chopper is going to go one-on-one with Queen, even if you factor in the fact that Queen is somewhat injured by Marco. I don't think it's anything crazy, but he's at least taken a bit of damage. Even then, that's probably too much to expect of Chopper. If even someone like Jinbei is fighting out Tobi Roppo, then I don't think we can expect Chopper to get a 1v1 against a Calamity. But, maybe he will. Maybe we'll learn that Monster Point is a lot stronger than we were led to believe. And we've already seen that Monster Point is pretty crazy, but it's still, I wouldn't expect it to stand up to a Calamity solo. But we'll have to see what happens. A lot of people thought that he would probably have some involvement in Queen's takedown. And it looks like this may be the case, unless this is just a one-off kind of slap. But as he's slapping, he says loud and proud for the entire festival hall to hear that he is not a Tanuki. At which point everybody has kind of a face fault. Drake, Yogoro, 2 of the regional Yakuza bosses, that one pleasure that jumped in front of Chopper, and Marco all kind of cover their face and have a "we're so sorry," kind of in a similar fashion to Dressrosa when Usopp, Robin, and I think it was Frankie all found out that the Tontadas moved up their rebellion to the day they arrived, because they saw that the fake the fake the fake news article about just Doflamingo stepping out down as a warlord, and they had a similar reaction back then. Any case, we get two very brief scenes kind of related to each other. One is just another brief check-in on Momonosuke and Shinobu, and Yamato, obviously. At which point, it seems like we're getting a bit more development for Momonosuke, because this entire raid, he's definitely been stepping up a bit more than he has in the past, and even now he's like under Yamato's clothes. He's not actually like enjoying it that much. He's realizing that he's kind of a spoiled fool and quite pathetic for being in that situation. So he turns into his dragon form and actually leaves Yamato's clothes there. So, more development there. That might be the end of that gag in that case. Which I'm sure plenty of people will be happy about if that is the case. But we also get related to that scene, the Cypher Pole agents from earlier talking about Momonosuke's artificial devil fruit. They talk about how the devil fruit is actually part of Kaido's devil fruit, or at least it was modeled somewhat after Kaido's devil fruit to some extent. They say that one of the times when Kaido was captured, because we obviously know he was captured a number of times and put to death, but they couldn't kill him. But one of the times Vegapunk managed to get his hands on him and actually use his devil fruit as a model to make his own artificial devil fruit, which ended up being Momonosuke's, or at least we're led to believe that. I mean, I assume that's definitely supposed to be the case. Especially juxtaposed with the earlier scene, the scene with Momonosuke just before it. But yeah, so that's I guess a nice little loose end tied there. Knowing that Vegapunk used Kaido as a model for Momonosuke's devil fruit, but also they believe it to be destroyed at the time, because it's obviously considered a failure and just kept at Punk Hazard. And there was a recent explosion there that they've heard about. So, I mean, the wording about it is a little strange. Like he's like, oh, I was just, he brings that up out of nowhere, and they're like wondering why he brought it up, and he's just, oh, I was just thinking about it, that's all. Kind of like he suspects something, or it's just bothering him for some reason, which might have importance later. I don't know. Maybe it was just a throwaway scene for a bit more exposition on the whole situation surrounding the fruit. Only time will tell. But now we get to the final scene of the chapter. It is a scene we get to catch up with the vassals. They're all conscious, it seems. I believe we see all of them in this panel. I think they're all alive. I see... Yeah, some of them are very far in the background or covered by others, but I think I see all of them there. I don't think any of them died or anything. So that's good. But in any case, it is revealed that Kosuke Oden was the one that brought them back to health. Which, that's not true. That's not it. We see Oden standing there, and all of them are obviously shocked to see Oden. But there is a 0% chance this is Oden. Oda would not bring back Oden, of all people. That would just ruin so much of the arc, in my opinion, unless he did it in an incredibly satisfying way, which I would be very interested to see any way that he can manage to do that. But this is like guaranteed pretty much for all intents and purposes not to be Oden. A number of things. He has sort of a skirt thing going on. Or like his, I don't know, it's not a kimono, I guess, but whatever his clothes are go down to like just above his ankles, and usually they're very short, not even reaching his knees, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but that's definitely a difference. But also he has two swords that are obviously not Enma and Amano Habakiri, and obviously if even if it was the real Oden, he wouldn't have those swords because Zoro obviously has one. He could I guess technically have Amino Habakiri because Tenguyama still had him. Was Tenguyama? Is that his name? Yeah, it is Tenguyama Hitetsu. Yeah, for some reason I wasn't positive on that, but yes, that I it just doesn't seem like Odin. Yeah, to me, uh, the immediate, the best explanation I have for this is that this is Onimaru, the fox we met in Ringo, and was part of Kawamatsu's story, because I mean, obviously, he's the only person in Wano that has the ability to shapeshift in a convincing way. Which, I mean, unless obviously Kozuki Higurashi was, had the clone fruit, but she's dead. So the only person in the Wano arc that has anywhere close to ability to do shapeshift to this degree would be Onimaru. So I would count on that being the explanation. And he does say, I was hoping our paths would cross again, and you've aged quite a bit, which indicates a few things to me. Obviously, if Odin was alive, like the real Odin, I can't imagine he would say that. Well, the thing is, if Odin was alive, in order to say that, that would insinuate that he got sent into the future too, right? By Toki, which I don't think would happen. But the thing about Onimaru is that, well, last chapter, obviously, if you, or not last chapter, 2-3 chapters ago, if you go back and look at the silhouette of the one character that was tending to the scabbard's wounds, that was 100% not Odin, not in any way, shape, or form. So we either know that this person, this Odin that we see before us, was that person tending to him and was shape-shifting, or what I personally believe that was Hiyori, the real Hiyori. Hiyori is still here. I think that she came here with Onimaru because she went to the north. I believe it was stated that obviously when Kawamatsu told the rest of the scabbards that Hiyori was alive, and Orochi received a report from Kanjuro that told him that Hiyori was hiding somewhere in the north, I believe I said. And Ringo was in the north. I guess it's technically the northeast, but it's still pretty far up north in terms of Wano. So I think it's the most likely possibility that Hiyori went to the north, found or met Onimaru in some way, and they ended up here. That just seems like the best explanation to me. I couldn't imagine this. I mean, I guess maybe Onimaru, because obviously if he transformed into Odin, then that would insinuate that he can transform into anyone on sight. Which I would assume means that after seeing Hiyori, which we know he did, because he was there at Bandit's Bridge when Zoro fought Killer, and then again back when they obviously all discovered the weapon stash that Onimaru had been hoarding. So if he could have very well been Hiyori there. But I'm still sticking to my guns that initial silhouette that we saw was definitely a female. And it looked like either Hiyori or Toki, which makes me think that either it's Hiyori is here with Onimaru, or it's just Onimaru and he transformed into Hiyori for some reason and now he's Odin. Something like that. I don't know. But I am like 99.9% sure this is Onimaru, because just thinking about it, nothing else really makes good sense to me. Not even it being real Odin makes good sense to me. So I think that's the safest bet right now. But with that being said, I don't really think I have anything to talk about this chapter. Like I said, definitely went fast due to most of the scene most of the chapter taking place in one scene at the festival hall. With Chopper's big moment of curing all of those afflicted by the Ice Oni virus. But now that that's over and done with, it looks like we might get Chopper's matchup, possibly with Queen, and if it is a 2v1, which I assume it would be if it's against Queen, because I don't think he can take it by his own. We might see someone like Sanji or someone come in and give him an assist on that. But until then, I will leave it off here. So see ya.